that one again. And there it is. Good evening. It's Tuesday, September 30th, and it's 7:34. We're going to do the pledge and get into our legislative session. Pledge allegiance to the flag. Christ. Public stands and justice. Toot, toot.
Trustee Fritchie. Wait. Trustee White.
Present.
Trustee Yost.
Present.
Mayor Levin.
Present.
Trustee Fritchie.
I'm here.
Thank you, sir.
Great. Hello. Okay, we have Trustee Fritchie is
On video.
zooming in, and
Let's
we have a
go.
quorum. We're gonna get started.
Okay, we'll start with the public hearings for this evening. Sorry? Oh.
Announcements actually come in
After.
Roman numeral 3.
Yeah. Overgrowth assessment hearing for 18 Tompkins Avenue. Is there anyone online that wishes to raise their virtual hand to talk about that? Seeing no one, I need a motion to close the public hearing.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Yep.
Aye.
Consider proposed changes, local law 2025, amending chapter 270, zoning, RDD zoning district. Is there anyone online that wishes to raise their virtual hand and talk about that public hearing? Right, do I have a motion? Close the public hearing.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Mayor and trustee announcements.
Okay, I'm gonna start on my right with Trustee White.
Well, there's a couple of very cool things happening in October in the village. One of them is the Haunted Kill on the 17th and 18th. So get your tickets. I hear they're selling fast. It's $5 this year. It's at their rec center, and there's lots of fun, spooky stuff going on. The other that's happening is that this is the 200th anniversary of the Erie Canal. And in order to honor that, a full-sized replica of an Erie Canal boat called the Seneca Chief is
I'm up
sailing.
and about. I'm walking. I graduated from a walker to the cane. Oops, sorry.
Mr. Fritchie,
Bob, you're not
That-
muted.
that-
Bob, you gotta mute. Okay.
Like what? Okay. I was saying something very important. And so the Seneca Chief is a full-sized replica of an 1800s Erie Canal boat. And Ossining, it is making 27 stops from Buffalo to New York City. Ossining is the only stop in the lower Hudson Valley. It is going to be arriving on Friday, October 24th. It's going to be docking at Chatham for one night. And it's a project of the Buffalo Maritime Center. And Sing Sing Prison Museum is also helping with this because it also happens to be the 200th anniversary of Sing Sing Prison. And it just so happens that the men brought here from Auburn Prison to build it in 1825 were brought on the Erie Canal before it was even officially opened. So that is the connection that these two sort of landmarks have. And so it's basically a floating museum, and you can step aboard and explore recreated cabins, view historical artifacts, and engage with interactive exhibits. And they encourage you to register, and you can do that at the SingSingPrisonMuseum.com. And there'll be other stuff to do on shore. There'll be live music, there'll be beer, snacks, and always there's beer. And it's only for a couple of hours that you'll be able to access it, so don't sleep on that. And I just think it's if you look for pictures of the Seneca Chief, it's a very cool looking canal barge, and I think it's neat that Ossining is the only lower Hudson Valley stop. It's the last stop before the city, I think.
Oh, wow, really?
Yeah. So there's that.
Okay. Have something?
I do. So, just wanted to, for this coming weekend, the Chamber of Commerce has sent out a note that there's a business in town, Well Collab Acupuncture. It's been around for a while, but this weekend they're celebrating a grand opening of a new space downtown Ossining. They're celebrating it on Saturday between 12:30 and 4, and it's at 127 Main Street on the second floor. So if you've got time and you're interested in understanding a little bit about what they offer, go down and take a look on Saturday.
Great, thank you. I don't have a lot, a couple of general statements, which is, number one, as we enter October, we enter beautiful foliage, and for this area of the country, it's all about Halloween. I see in Croton, they've already started with the blaze, because I got stuck in traffic already. Big thing. I mean, literally 5 minutes from here. People come from all over the place for that, and it's right here in our backyard, our neighbors. Sleepy Hollow has stuff. We're gonna have stuff. So really look around on the website. Jamie Hoffman does on our website on the web blast. You know, there's county events on the web blast. Every time it goes out, there is the school events, there is our events, the town. So, even New York State sometimes. So please be on the lookout. We also want to congratulate again, and I say again, because I believe, last night, which is Monday night, the village manager, along with our local Emiliana Ulai, who is our county rep, sort of honored and congratulated, Chief Sanchez, who was recognized last night in Westchester County as part of the Hispanic Heritage Month. He is, I believe, the first Hispanic fire chief in the county, and so that is, I actually don't know if it's in the state. All I have is that it's, oh, in Ossining. I'm sorry, in Ossining. I thought it was bigger than that, but Ossining's big enough, so we're happy, and congratulations to the chief. Been a volunteer for many years. His family was there, a proud moment for our community. As people know, we've said it before, we have the largest volunteer fire department in the state, so it's always exciting when we have something like this to report. It was a very exciting night. Last night, we also had a community engagement, the second in a series regarding the the Spring and Main development with the developers, and Maddie Sahaj was there. I was there, Trustee White and Pat Yost, and really good, nice crowd with input about that initiatives and some interesting ideas. So that was actually a lot of fun, to be honest with you. It was some people I haven't seen in a while, so I was excited to see in the room, and it was really productive. It was really well done. So we appreciate that, and there will be more about this project as it's part of one of the many initiatives we're doing in what I now am calling the 360-degree redevelopment in Ossining, because you literally can walk in a circle from one initiative to the other that we are doing really by foot. Fantastic of all the redevelopment going on downtown. And we very much look forward to all other events. Hello, Deputy Mayor.
Hello.
Hi, do you have something for the announcements?
Let's go Yankees. That's it.
Let's go Yankees. All right. Who said yeah? Oh.
The man,
I was gonna say,
only audience member.
at least 2 or 3 audience members. Okay, here we go. Ready?
Yep. Administrative reports, Village Manager Karen Tatori.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Good evening, everyone. So this last night, we wrapped up the second of 2 sessions we had to talk about the mixed-use development that will be built on Spring Street and Spring on Main. We are calling it the corner of Spring and Main Streets in the post office parking lots, the 2 large parking lots adjacent to the post office. And we were at the farmer's market, Assistant Village Manager Maddie Zahach and I, along with Jim Lenling from Wilder Balter Partners, the developer, and Mike Bevavino, the architect. And the mayor stopped by, so did Trustee White. And we had a really good time talking to a lot of different people, took down their concerns, what they liked, what they wanted to see in terms of maybe some more homage to the historic district in the final architectural rendering, but all in all, really good feedback. And Maddie was able to do a second engagement session last night at the community center, which we also got a pretty good turnout, I understand. And Also, good conversation. So we're getting excited. This is the building that once we build the multimodal transportation hub, also known as a parking structure, which will start next week. Once that's completed, we anticipate it'll take about 18 months. We should be in a good position to break ground on this project. And we'll have sufficient parking to accommodate. This project will, I want to just reassure everybody, all of the parking for residents, it's about 110 units, is actually going to be located in the building itself. So there will not necessarily need any new parking for residents, but we will have a parking structure that will incorporate 100 spaces in addition to what we have currently on our municipal lots downtown, in the downtown Main Street area. And that will be for visitors and shoppers and people who are going to some other new projects that are coming up, like the Sing Sing Prison Museum Visitor Center. So we're looking to make sure that we're thinking about all the considerations we need to make sure that we're improving quality of life, economic development, and preparing for now as well as for the future as we redevelop and revitalize the downtown area. With some sadness, we will be also taking down the now dead, and it has been dead for some time. It's not newly dead. It retained its green color, but the holiday tree on the corner of Spring and Main is dead, and we need to take it down because a dead tree poses some safety hazards, and we don't want anybody to get hurt should a branch fall. Also, it really isn't conducive to putting lights on a dead tree. It's probably not a great idea. So we will be, for the time being, since we are planning a lot of construction and we don't know how that will impact the site, we don't want to plant a tree right now because we don't want to compromise its long-term viability. But we will be purchasing a 20-foot Norway spruce, a live tree, that we will keep in that area and light for the holiday. And after the holidays, we will have it planted in one of our parks where it will grow and be around for a good long time. And we will do that every year until all of the construction downtown is complete. And once it's complete, we will identify the perfect spot in that immediate area to plant a new holiday tree that can be with us for many, many, many tree lightings to come. So it's a bittersweet story, but we will carry on our beloved holiday tree lighting tradition. Also, I'd like to just end with some really good news. There's a new fountain in Washington Park. And it took us a little time, but it is up and running and it looks beautiful. There is still a little bit of algae in the pond or in the reservoir. That will dissipate now that the fountain's running. But I do want to say that we were able to take out the invasive species of algae that was there, the Asian milfoil. We were able to get that taken out and removed. The algae that's there now is probably on every pond in the area. It's just the result of hot summers and still waters. And as the weather gets cooler, now that we have the fountain going, that will dissipate. But some of this is just what nature does. But the fish are fine, the turtles are fine, and the fountain is flowing. So that's everything right now for this week.
Thank you. Corporation Counsel, Stuart Kahan.
Is the tree still dead?
It's dead.
Okay. As we finish the third quarter, just to report on foils, we clocked in today our 823rd foil of the year, which puts us approximately 3 weeks ahead of last year. We're averaging about 91 a month. So by the end of this year, if we keep up, we will be just under 1,100, which will be about 100 more than last year. We are seeing an increase in foils directed to OPD. And my thanks to Teresa, Lieutenant McGovern, and Officer Abulatin for going through all of those. Many of those FOIL requests are from folks looking for immigration information. in response to applications to various departments of the federal government. We also are getting a large number of requests for surveys on property, something we had not seen as much before. So things are very busy in that regard. And again, my unending thanks to the folks in the clerk's office, Janice and all the folks there, and Sue, for basically rounding everything up, and to all the different departments that respond. Building and planning and police are really the three big ones. But again, I think for a village of this size to realize that we are right now just under 850 foils for the year, and we keep up to date on them all. We get an active foil report. We know exactly where we are. I can count probably on one hand the number that we're really sort of getting extensions on. So to everyone who helps with that, thank you very much. It's a big job, but not unfortunately, it's one that has to be done. Thank you.
Great. Before you go on, Sue, so we usually, I think, ask the same question, which is it spread across many people, or is it like a bell curve where you get like a whole bunch by a few people?
Many people.
Oh, no, this is not like we do get foils from particular organizations on a monthly basis. Someone wants to know every building permit that's been filed. Someone wants to know things like that. But in terms of foils, we get them from all different kinds of realtors. We get them from individuals. A lot of people are looking for police reports. So there is no one major subset of people. I mean, brokers would be the largest subset, but within that, you get across the sphere. So no, there's no one particular set or group of persons.
And I think you told me that the media also every once in a while, some paper or some publication will ask for a whole swath of.
We're
foils.
working on one of those right now.
Yeah,
But
okay.
in the past, I can say in the past quarter, there's only been one of those particular
Right.
ones.
Okay. All right, just curious. I'm always sort of interested in how it spreads out. Thank you.
Okay, Police Chief Aaron Zimmerman.
Good evening. I don't have a whole lot other than tomorrow, Wednesday, at the Tasty Table on Camp Woods Road, right here in the village, is Coffee with a Cop. So if you want to come down and have a chat and a nice hot cup of coffee, or iced if that's your pleasure, come on down and we'll be there. Chop it up.
Time?
10 o'clock Eastern Standard.
That's it? Okay.
Sometimes no news is good news. from the police department.
So true.
All right. I have mixed feelings about that, but okay. All right, Sue.
Organizational announcements. Announcements shall be event-related only and no longer than 2 minutes in length. Is there anyone online that wishes to make an organizational announcement? Moving on to public comment on agenda items. Visitors are accorded a 4-minute opportunity to address the board on any of the resolutions on the agenda. Is there anyone online that wishes to do that? Moving on, visitor recognition. Visitors are accorded a 3-minute opportunity to address the board on issues not relating to the agenda, but of relevance to the common good of the village. Is there anyone that wishes to talk to us about that? Okay, thank you very much. Village Board resolutions, approval of minutes, September 17th, 2025. Resolved that the Board of Trustees of the Village of Ossining hereby approves the minutes of September 17th, 2025 at the regular meeting as presented. Do I have a motion?
So move.
Second.
Any comments?
All in
Sorry.
favor?
Aye.
Okay, approval of the voucher detail report, September 30th, 2025. Resolved that the Board of Trustees of the Village of Ossining hereby approves the voucher detail report dated September 30th, 2025 in the amount of $688,818.97. Do I have a motion?
So move.
Second.
Sue?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
What was that?
Uh,
Somebody have a comment? Oh, you
No,
just said aye, Bob?
Mr.
Said
Okay.
aye.
It's
Thanks,
trustee Pritchie, yeah. No, we didn't have anything for that, okay. Village manager agreement with Zelsman Associates, DBA Down to Earth Market. Resolved that following review of Corporation Council, the village manager is authorized to sign an agreement with Zelsman Associates, Inc., DBA Down Down to Earth Markets for a 1-year term commencing January 1st, 2026. And be it further resolved that upon review of the Corporation Council, the village manager is authorized to sign the Down to Earth Market 2026 Farmers Market Operating Plan. Do I have a motion?
So move.
Second.
No, I just, in the comments, I didn't think it was a full year. That the wording?
No, it is a full year contract. They won't be open the entire year, but it is a 1-year contract. The market itself.
When they're
made in
closed, no
December.
one else can use that space. Is that correct?
No.
I don't know.
It's
Is that a
their
no, I'm
space,
wrong,
but-
or no, nobody else can use it?
People who
Well,
park there.
For
I should have asked them that last week.
purposes of the contract, it's an annual contract. If they are not using the space, then then we can rent it out and do other things in the space. It's not that it can't be used. It's just that they, the contract for that space, they have decided this year they're not going to run a winter.
No, I know what they decided. I should have asked when she was here last week.
But that if they're not running, basically, if they're not using it, we can use it for other events and things.
Okay, that's in the contract. I didn't.
Well, it's in it, for example, in the operating plan in the past, they would be permanent, no parking signs.
Right.
Those will not be permanent.
Okay,
They will be temporary because during the period of time when the market is not in operation on those Saturdays up to May, that area could be used to park or for other purposes. So the operating plan has been changed to reflect some of those things. They will be removing equipment during the period that the plan is, that they're not open. So there will be changes in that regard.
okay, so I'm just gonna say, I should have asked last week, or somebody should have asked, but in the past, it wasn't them directly, but it was done through a nonprofit. The argument in the past has been, if it's their contract and somebody else wants to use it, they become the people who rent it out, not the village. So I just don't know how the contract's reading, and I'm not getting it on here.
They
So
are not,
just,
they are not in a position to be a landlord or to sub out the property.
sublease, yeah, okay,
Okay,
Then
their
I'm
use is
good.
between May 15th and the end of the year.
okay. Just pointing it out, question, because we've been down this road before. Okey dokey.
Okay.
We're in the vote.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Police Department approval of price quotations, Evans Consoles. Resolve the following review of Corporation
Under the
Council.
rest.
I'm sorry? Oh, am I
DPW.
Oh. I have it here.
Spring Street sidewalk?
No, I probably don't have it on. So I apologize.
Yeah,
Hold
yeah,
on one
that's
second.
fine.
Okay, DPW award to bid, Spring Street sidewalk improvements. Resolved that upon subject of review of Corporation Council, the Board of Trustees of the Village of Ossining hereby awards the bid for contract number DPW 2508 Spring Street sidewalk improvements to Peter L. Landy, Inc., 13 Bradhurst Avenue, Hawthorne, New York, 10532 for a total bid amount of $1,440,585, consisting of the base bid of $1,156,370 and the alternate bid of $284,215 as the lowest bid received from a responsive and responsible bidder. And be it further resolved that following review of Corporation Council, the village manager is authorized to sign the documents for contract DPW 2508. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Any comments or questions? Pat?
Come on.
Yeah.
I think there were a couple questions that were floating around a little.
Paul is up there if you also want to
Yeah.
ask him.
You know, Paul, I think there were a couple of questions that got bantied around a little bit. If you could, for me, there was a question of like, you know, where's the funding coming from? And there was a comment in one of the emails that said some of the funding is coming from a certain project for 2026. So I was trying to figure out, does that mean that that money doesn't exist anymore for that 2026 project, or that needs to be backfilled somehow? Or maybe you could just walk through a little bit, because it's a big chunk of money, right? So.
Thank you, Trustee Yost, and thank you for calling me out on that. In my effort to, give you like a Reader's Digest answer, I kind of tried to put 10 pounds in a 5-pound email. So I'm going to expand on it a little bit if it's okay. I won't take up too much of the board's time tonight, but I spent some quality time late in the day today with our treasurer, who's also on the call, so she's going to jump in as required. By way of introduction to the project for the public and to reiterate to the board, this is a 2022 funding cycle CDBG project with the County of Westchester, for which the village has benefited from greatly in my tenure here. We've spent millions of dollars that have come through the CDBG funding stream that comes to us with the county planning department as the administrator. In projects like this, the county also takes on the role of landscape architect, if you will, and they help to create the documents that we ultimately put out to bid through our bidding process with the clerk's office. In this instance, we started it in 2022, and then it was kind of in the midst of COVID, so things got sidetracked down at the county, and we really didn't. Things weren't too moving along too expeditiously, but we did create a project back then, and that project exists in our capital project files right now. However, we do need to create a formal capital project with resolution that we're going to do at the next legislative session and bring in the necessary monies into that capital project. So while you're voting tonight to allow the manager to sign the contract, we're going to recommend that she doesn't actually execute it until the next resolution at the next legislative meeting when we create the funding. Most of you have been up there long enough to know that those are usually part and parcel. A resolution to create the funding followed by the capital project authorization to execute. In this case, I'll eat crow and say that I thought that the project was created because there was one in the computer, but a formal resolution from back in 2022, whether it was done or not, isn't what's necessary now because of the money we need to transfer in. And before I continue, is that more or less reflective, Ms. Brennan, of where we stand?
Yes, Mr. Farley, that is correct. So on the capital plan for 2025, we did have this project listed. It really expounded on the original Spring Street sidewalk project, for which that was $200,000 of CDBG and then $200,000 of village funds that have already been transferred. But when we were estimating out for this enhanced now project, since it changed scope, we had 1,370,962 listed on the capital plan as a placeholder, if you will, which has now come in. Basically, we're funding 1.7, of which, in speaking with Paul this afternoon, since we've already moved 200,000 of general fund money, we're going to move the other half to match the CDBG money of 200,000 to create the capital project, as well as fund the remaining piece of 900,000 with CHIPS funding. So the total project will be 1.7, of which we've already created a capital project of 400,000, but in essence, we're just going to transfer it from the old project, start new, create a new project, and establish the funding streams as said.
So, thank you. And a segue into the 200 CDBG projects of this nature over the years have typically been funded with $200,000. That's the maximum contribution they'll give you for projects of this nature. If you remember when I first presented the CDBG druthers to you all to apply to the county, it was 2 phases of Spring Street, one from Broad to Lafayette and one from Lafayette down to Rev Road. But during COVID and in the time we were waiting for the county to design phase 1, there was lots of Con Edison work down there. And we did some work ourselves in public works where we repaired a good portion of the sidewalks there already. and the road was milled and paved by Con Edison. So what we solicited from the county was, hey, since we did a lot of that work, do you think you can give us the 200,000 that you were going to give us for that and roll it into the phase 1 project? Because we've had so much price escalation during COVID. So they agreed to give us the extra 200 to total their 400 contribution. But as required by CDBG contract, we have to match it. So that's the additional 200 that the treasurer just referenced. So the total CDBG contribution by us is 4, by the county is 4, giving you 8, and then the total project bricks and mortar is 1.44. But then we need contingency and soft cost inclusive of the survey that we already did 3 years ago when we originally gave it to the county to create the bid documents, and the inspection engineering work that we've already accomplished but have yet to pay for the drainage work that's included in this project that we had designed by a consultant engineer that was working with the county. And then now that we've bid it, we're going to have engineering and inspection services that go along with this project. So we have someone in the field during the week, in addition to myself, watching the contractor do the work and then doing the necessary testing, grant drawdown administration, and project oversight to assist the village in those efforts. So we think right now that 1.7 is enough money to do that. And of course, if there is some unforeseen issue, we will come back to you and ask for more money, but I don't anticipate that. The second part, because I want to roll into what Trustee Yost asked about the use of water fund money for this. As you know, whenever we upset a road with a water project, we typically, like we did in Indian Village recently, utilize water fund money to do restoration of the road work. It's an explainable use of the money, and it passes muster with our auditors. We've done it a lot over the years, and it's appropriate use of that money. So Spring Street from Lafayette to Agate is going to have a lot of lead service work done, the balance of this year, and it's going to roll into next year's money. And that was my reference in that internal email that went around where I said possibly next year when we do some road restoration work during this full scope, some of the money may come from that lead service water funding, which we're going to go into deeper detail when we present the capital budget to you this month, or next month rather, but to the manager this month. And I'll explain that in a little more detail. The other thing that is likely going to happen with this project is after we do all the sidewalk work and all the drainage work, we're going to hopefully continue some of the sidewalk restoration for the balance of Spring Street down to Agate with whatever money we do have left over in the CHIPS balance that we've been accumulating over the years, specifically for this project. Now we're bringing in roughly 900,000 in CHIPS to award this contract and hopefully complete this contract, but that's still going to leave us close to $1 million for CHIPS money to use on this and other village projects. I would like to use a good portion of it next year, extending the scope of this project down to Agate. So when we finish all the sidewalks, then we can come in again with CHIPS money and do a full mill and road restoration from Broad all the way to Agate, and that entire corridor will then be newly paved, and a large portion of that corridor will have brand new sidewalks. That's our goal. I hope that answered some of the questions that were promulgated by the email chain that was going around, but if not, Dale and I are here right now to answer more.
So first of all, appreciate the detail and appreciate the going into it a little bit in depth, both into the expenses, the historical funding, and that's helpful context, not just for me, but I think for anybody who's going to watch this at some point. So I think you roughly answered my question, I guess, and so two second follow-up questions. My interpretation of what you were saying about the money coming from the lead pipe remediation funding that's work that would have been done along anyway. So my concern was that by taking money out of that fund, we're not going to be able to do something, but that doesn't seem to be the case.
Absolutely not. Yeah, absolutely not the case. I would tell you that this year we used the lead service money out of capital to do Seneca, right? Dale, was that the road we did? Seneca and Picantico with lead service capital money, because Andy's crews did a lot of the lead service work in-house. So we drew from the operating budget for that and didn't really have the vehicle to charge that much money out of capital. So the money was sitting there. So we decided, let's make good use of it, and we'll use it through restoration, and it will allow us to not use chips to build up chips for just this.
And I think that makes sense, right? I mean, removing the risk of lead in the community where we can while we're doing other projects is the right thing to do, right?
Oh yeah.
It's
And
better for
I'll say it again, whenever this comes up, Andy and his crew are way ahead of the curve on lead remediation from the where the services come into our main.
So the only two other comments are, one, I like the idea of, redoing the sidewalks in that area. I think that just from a village perspective and from down in that area, I think that's a good use for an area that bluntly sometimes gets neglected. And then only other question is, if we're going to dip into the CHIPS funds next year, one of the questions we've been having about any of the grant funding, is there a match component to that? If we're going to spend $1 million out of CHIPS?
No,
funds
CHIPS
available?
doesn't have a match. CHIPS doesn't have a match. CHIPS just has some it's specific to what you can use it on, though. It's pretty much work in the right.
Very specific, yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I mean, people that understand, it took me a while to understand chips, but it's not matched. There is a cap, but it's so specific that, we've wanted to use it for other things that we think make sense. We've been advised that, we're just and the accountants also know what we can do and not. I think that's great. My feeling, we should always be fixing sidewalks. People walk around a lot in this community, and, we're on a cliff, so with streams of water underneath everything, so things move around. As soon as you fix one thing, another thing happens. I think it's great, and it's and the milling, all of that, I think will be helpful, and I think people would appreciate it. So thank you. I think some of the emails that were going out is that we really get a chance to discuss all of this. I really would encourage all of you to remember that we do have work sessions to discuss this, and that it should be done in a portfolio and not piecemeal, where we're sort of trying to catch up and figure out what's going on, so we can, on behalf of the public, approve money appropriately. And it is a lot of money. Get into 7 figures, it's real money. And it's not really about resolutions and moving money around. From our perspective, it's how much are we spending? And if it was supposed to be 1.1, how does it get to 1.7 and all that? But Paul didn't mention, which he spoke to me earlier today, which the board should know, is given the weather and that we're having some extended nice weather, he's trying to also get some of this stuff done sooner rather than later. And I think that's important. Can't get very much done around here in the winter. So that's the humanistic part. Also harder for people to park if it's raining and all that, and they have to move their cars around and whatever. So I think they're trying to be thoughtful and catch some good weather conditions, if at all possible. Okay, thank you.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Oh, we forgot to ask, Bob, do you have any questions? Because usually you do about stuff like this.
Well, Paul, do you have a timeline on this once this is awarded? Something going to be done before the winter?
There's no way we're going to be done before the winter. We were just looking to start it, and
No. I didn't ask if we were going to be done. I said, will something get done?
oh well, something. I'm sorry. Yeah, I misunderstood you. Yes, we're looking to commence with work probably within maybe a little over a month before, with the contracts that have to go back and forth and the front end stuff. But we can mobilize right away. It's not work that is tough to coordinate. It's sidewalk work, but it's extensive sidewalk work. So there's going to be a lot of logistical issues. But yes, we look to work, start work hopefully by November, and work through until weather won't permit otherwise. It's concrete, so you can you can do it up to pretty cool temperatures. But once you hit freezing, and particularly freezing overnight, then we'll pull away, and we'll leave the place we'll leave the sites in appropriate, safe way. If weather dictates through that weather, and then when the weather breaks again, we're going to start right up again and move along.
All right, thank you.
I know Andy's crew is going to be out there doing lead service work, and that's work that could probably go through the winter. So I don't want to speak too much on his behalf, but I know that's his intent there. This way they get completely out of the way should we have the opportunity next summer to move and do that extended part of Spring Street. They'll be done with their work over there. So we'll have no underground utility that we'll have to worry about in that area once we finish everything that we want to do on top, inclusive of Con Ed, which is committed to be done with that area for the foreseeable future. And I say that in air quotes.
One last comment, Paul. As you get close to a schedule for when you're going to start digging up sidewalks and everything there, I just ask that you be cognizant of giving the local businesses enough heads up around. Yeah.
So just to tell you what we're going to typically do briefly, we always do the crude flyer handout to every resident and every car and every business in the area, and we go door to door and talk to them. The school is already versed on this project. I'm dealing with Mr. Minahan and his team to talk about the logistics of the buses and what we're going to be doing. But again, with the sidewalk work, it's going to be more just, we have to stay safe in the areas we're working versus creating any traffic issues. But yes, we're going to alert everybody we can. We're going to have the police on board. We're going to have them there when necessary. We're going to send out nixles. And of course, our village PR team will be in the loop with everything too.
Did you hear that, team?
Okay. Any more questions, comments? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I want to ask something. It brings me up on a topic with the federal government shutdown. So if I can ask the village manager or Dale or anybody else, is this affecting us directly and indirectly to the village in any way?
There's no direct impact that I'm aware of. Dale, you can correct me if there's something I'm not thinking of, but I don't believe there's any direct impact.
Not that I'm aware of. But I guess one never knows.
Okay, well, we were surprised last time. There was some federal grants withdrawn and stuff, so you never know. I'm assuming you guys are keeping your eye on it. And the second question is, if I read it correctly earlier today, but I was breezing through, so I don't know. The county executive announced that he's disappointed in the fact that I think 90% of safety
Homeland
and
Security.
security money may be gone for next year. That will affect, I think there's a lot of grants the police get. It affects, I think, security police cost. Are you tracking that at all, Dale, or somebody tracking that at all?
The grants that the police currently have actually ended today. So Drew has been working on, putting in filing for the reimbursement, and we do not have any federal grants in that stream for the next year. We didn't
Okay.
apply.
Okay, so we might have nonprofits and others that may have applied, but that's not the municipality itself. Okay, thank you for that. Sue?
Okay. Police Department, approval of price quotation, Evans Consult. Resolved that upon review of Corporation Council, the village manager is authorized to sign the following price quotation proposals of Evan Consols, Inc., 305 East Wall Street, Grapeville, Texas, 76051, for work on the Ossining Police Department Communications Room. Raised floor tiles, $20,000. Dispatch consoles, service window bridge, and a credenza storage and printer area, $81,028.31. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second. I have a question. So these folks are in Grapevine, Texas. I'm assuming that not a whole lot of people create police consoles. I mean, that's why I had to go to Texas to find, is that just, I don't know.
They were the best price around.
Okay.
You prefer that we buy New York, right? Is that the point? Even if it's not the cheapest, is that the?
Well,
You
no.
you have to be best value, not necessarily.
Right. I don't mind giving Texas the business, but, just curious.
This is all part of a grant-funded project too. So we'll
Okay.
be reimbursed for these costs. This was a CREST grant for, the total was $100,000 that we got from Senator Pete Harkam.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay.
we're gonna vote.
All in favor?
Aye.
Police Department declaring certain village-owned vehicle as surplus. Resolved that the Board of Trustees of the Village of Austining hereby declares the following vehicle as surplus equipment and authorizes its disposal in accordance with New York State law by sale or otherwise as in pursuant with the village's agreement with Auctions International, Inc., a 1995 international van. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
The next is a local law, so it'll be a roll call vote. Adoption of Local Law 5, 2025, a local law amending Chapter 270 zoning for the Village of Austining Code. Whereas the Board of Trustees of the Village of Austining, Village Board, has been considering the adoption of the proposed law 2025 entitled a local law amending Chapter 270 zoning of the Village of Austining Code, Article 20, moratorium and submission and processing of land use approvals for cannabis dispensaries, vape shops, smoke shops, vape lounges, and vape consumption businesses. And whereas the public hearing was conducted on September 17th at 7:30 PM at the Birdsell Fagan Police Court Facility, 8688 Spring Street, Austining, New York, and via Zoom platform, affording members of the public the opportunity to be heard. And whereas the public hearing was closed on September 17th, 2025, whereas no impediments to approving the proposed local law, now therefore it be resolved that the Board of Trustees of the Village of Austining hereby adopts local law 5-2025, a local law amending Chapter 270 zoning for the Village of Austining Code, Article 20, and be it further resolved that the local law 5-2025 shall become effective upon filing with the Secretary of State pursuant with the municipal home rule law. Do I have a motion?
So move.
Second.
Any comments? We discussed all this in work sessions.
Okay, Trustee White,
Aye.
Trustee Fritchie,
Aye.
Trustee Yost,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Lopez,
Aye.
and Mayor Levin.
Aye.
Thank you. Okay, overgrowth assessment, 18 Tompkins Avenue. Whereas Hassan Ben Fo, the owner of 18 Tompkins Avenue, and whereas pursuant with Section 88-8 of the Village of Austining Code, the owner was notified by the building department of overgrowth on the property had to be removed within 10 days, and whereas the owner failed to remove the overgrowth, and whereas pursuant with Section 88-10 of the code, the village arranged to have the overgrowth removed, and whereas the overgrowth was removed by Diego's Landscaping and Construction Company on August 2nd, 2025 at the village's request, and whereas on August 28th, 2025, the owner was sent a notice of proposed assessment of the cost for the a notice of the hearing stating the total of $230.40, consisting of an invoice to perform of work performed of $192 plus the 20% administrative fee of $38.40. And whereas the hearing was conducted on September 30th, 2025, and whereas the Board of Trustees determined that the itemized cost noted below were just and reasonable, now therefore it be resolved that the amount of the assessed is not paid within 30 days after the assessment of this board. An action to recover the amount assessed will be maintained by the village against the property owner, or a special warrant may be issued by the board for the collection of such assessment of the amount thereof to be included on the next annual tax levy. And again, it's $192 for the overgrowth and the administration fee of $38.40. Do I have a motion?
So move.
Second.
Comments? Sue?
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Aye.
Thank you. Public hearing, proposed local law 2025, amending chapter 270 zoning T-zoning district. Resolved that the Board of Trustees of the Village of Austin hereby calls for a public hearing to take place at 7:30 PM on October 15th, 2025 at the Birds Hole Fagan Police Court Facility, 8688 Spring Street, Austin, New York, and via Zoom to be considered a proposed local law 2025, amending chapter 270 zoning in the T district zoning district, and be it further resolved that the proposed local law, what, did I skip a page? Yeah, no, that the proposed local law would add a new Article 21, moratorium on T, two-family zoning district, and be it further resolved for the purpose of the proposed local law is to be temporary suspend the processing of approving of applications or conditional use permits pursuant with the section 270-51 of the Village of Austin Code in the T zoning district, and be it further resolved that members of the public are invited to attend the public hearing in person at the above referenced location, and be it further resolved that members of the public who want to attend and participate in the public hearing remotely, access will be available via Zoom platform, and be it further resolved that comments regarding the proposed local law will be accepted by the Board of Trustees at the BOT at villageofaustinny.gov. Do I have a motion?
So move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Village Clerk, 2026 fee schedule train station parking permits. Whereas the village clerk intends to send out the 2026 renewal applications for train station parking on or about October 15th, 2025. And whereas the Village Board of Trustees and the village clerks discussed adjustments to the 2026 train station parking permits at the September 24th work session, now therefore it be resolved that the 2026 railroad annual parking permit fees will be Village of Austining residents $500, Town of Austining residents $625, and non-residents $1,250. Do I have a motion?
So move.
Second.
I think, we discussed this in great detail last week. Sue, just 625, you're sure is the right amount for town? Because I thought.
Yes, it was,
higher.
yes. It
That's-
was 570, yes, yeah.
That's what was presented. Great,
Yes,
thank
yeah.
you. All right.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Village Manor Professional Engineering and Wetland Consulting Services. Whereas among the consulting services reviewed by the Board of Trustees and the village staff on the triannual basis are engineering and wetland consulting services. And whereas on August 18th, 2025, the following authorization by the Board of Trustees, the village issued a request for qualifications, RFQ, to interested engineering firms to provide engineering and wetland consulting services for the village. And whereas response to the RFQ were received and reviewed, and whereas the village engineer and village staff discussed their recommendations with the Board of Trustees on the September 24th workstation, now therefore be it resolved that following review of Corporation Counsel, the village manager is authorized to sign the agreement with KSCJ Consulting, 500 Main Street, Armonk, New York, 10504, for KSCJ Consulting to provide professional engineering and consulting services for the village in accordance with the RFQ and the proposed date of September 11th, 2025, and be it further resolved that that the term of the agreement will be 3 years commencing on October 1st, 2025, and concluding on September 30th, 2028. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Sue?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Yep. Village Manager, Construction Management Services. Whereas on December 4th, 2024, the Board of Trustees adopted a resolution authorizing the village manager to issue a request for proposal, RFP, for construction management services. And whereas the village subsequently issued an RFP for construction manager service, village-wide capital projects, and whereas the village staff, including the village engineer, received and reviewed the submissions, and whereas on September 24th, 2025 workstation, the village engineer and village manager presented their recommendations for a firm providing the desired construction management service. Now therefore it be it resolved that upon review of Corporation Counsel, the village manager is authorized to sign an agreement with Calgi Construction Company, Inc., 56 Lafayette Avenue, Suite 360, White Plains, New York, 10603 in accordance with the village request for the proposals. Do I have a motion?
So move.
Second.
Again, this was also discussed at the work session in detail.
All those in favor?
Aye.
DPW authorized to bid for the Route 9 road diet. Resolved that following review of Corporation Council, the village clerk is authorized to advertise for bids for contract DPW 2509 Route 9 road diet. Such bids are returnable to the village clerk. Do I have a motion?
So move.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Village manager agreement with KSJC Consulting. Is this another one? 140 Croton Avenue. Whereas on August 13th, 2025, the Board of Trustees adopted a resolution authorizing the village to sign an agreement with KSCJ Consulting, Village Sessions Consulting, Engineering, and Landscape Architects Planning, DPC, or KSCJ, to provide construction management and inspection services on behalf of the village for the development of Crescent Manor, located at 140 Croton Avenue. Such agreements to be based on the terms of the KSJC June 2nd, 2025 proposal. And whereas subsequent to the adoption of the resolution, following discussions with KSCJ and the village staff, including the village engineer, and KSCJ's review of the development's construction cost estimate, KSCJ presented the revised proposal to provide construction oversight and inspection services on the village's behalf necessary to oversee the development of Crescent Manor site. And now therefore be it resolved that following review of Corporation Council, the village manager or her designee is authorized to sign the September 24th, 2025 proposal with an estimated cost of services of $30,000, to be further resolved that the aforementioned August 13th, 2025 resolution is recalled and of no force or effect. Do I have a motion?
So move.
Second.
So if somebody could just tell me in 30 seconds, the part that it starts out in one way and then we don't usually see that the aforementioned resolution is recalled of no force and effect. What does that mean?
It means that the earlier resolution, which authorized the manager to sign an agreement with KSCJ for $43,750, is now null and void, and the new agreement will be for $30,000.
Good. Thank you. Don't often see
Great.
that. So
Yeah.
it's a
So-
highlight.
So I have a question, Keller, and this is to Paul. When you say inspections, what inspections are they, will they be doing?
These services, which are funded from escrow and apply to specifically the project on Upper Croton at 136, will be for civil site inspections and all the work associated with the same, including the work that's done in the right of way off the site. The building inspector has secured other agreements and has other agreements in place that will also be funded out of escrow for the building proper.
So the building inspector per se is not doing the vertical inspections on steel, he has somebody else doing those?
There's inspections that are done as special inspections that are part of the developer's responsibility, but I believe he also has a consultant reviewing their inspections and their submittals as well. But I don't want to speak too much on his behalf.
Right. So Bob, just give us a second because you can't see him. I think Maddie wants to add something. I don't think see her.
Yeah,
Maddie?
thank you, Mayor. So, thank you, Trustee Fritchie, and thank you, Paul. That's correct. So on a project such as this, the special inspections are provided and paid for by the development team. In addition, we do have a consultant working on our side to oversee those reports and make sure everything's on the up and up. But the third-party inspectors are at the applicant's expense.
All right, thank you. I just noticed a lot of vertical construction going on there. I just want to make sure all our ducks are in a row and not have another 70A.
Yeah. No, Bob, you're right. I drove by there a couple times today. That's 100%.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Is there any continuing business of the board? We do have an item in new business of the board, Police Department, Westchester County Mutual Aid and Rapid Response Plan. Resolved that following review of Corporation Council, the village manager is authorized to find an intermunicipal agreement with the County of Westchester, the agreement for the village's participation in a mutual aid and rapid response plan for the police departments of Westchester County, and be it further resolved that the term of the intermunicipal agreement will be from July 31st, 2025, July 30th, 2030, unless terminated sooner in accordance with the provisions of the agreement. Do I have a motion?
So move.
Second.
So Chief, you want to give us a little elevator speech about I understand what mutual aid is, but you want to tell us, are there changes in the next 5 years?
No, this
Is
is-
there costs? Is there differences from the past 5 years, et cetera, et cetera?
No, this is just a renewal of the mutual aid plan that's been in place for quite some time.
So all police departments in the county have mutual aid. There isn't any municipality that says, I don't want to participate.
The risk isn't really worth the reward on that, no.
Okay.
All municipalities participate.
And costs involved?
Really, there's no cost to municipality unless they call for mutual aid, and then under the agreement, under the general municipal law, the requesting agency may be responsible for some of the costs it incurs during that, but that's standard issue.
I don't know who negotiates any of this stuff. Look at this, like, does somebody look at all this stuff and it's all the same? for the
It
past
is
5 years?
identical to the 2020 agreement. The mutual aid plan is slightly different because there are a few different parts of different departments that are doing different things, but the plan is essentially the same as well. I compared the two.
Okay,
But the agreement itself is identical, and as the chief said, the requesting municipality does have certain financial responsibilities if in fact it does request mutual aid, and that's under by both this agreement and pursuant to state law.
so just from a curiosity, do we ask for mutual aid a lot, given year?
We have in the past, yes. It's usually for large scale events, ranging from it could be from anything from something weather related to some kind of a mass casualty incident, major accidents, protests, things like that. It's typically for when something's going on and who's ever working right then, the municipality just doesn't have the manpower to cover it. So you call for mutual aid from other jobs, and in that mutual aid, and depending on the level of the event, how large scale it is, depends on how many officers from every job within Westchester County responds to that requesting agency.
Okay. And that goes in your budget every year? It's a police budget, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll be looking for that.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, do I have a motion to adjourn to executive session for collective bargaining?
So move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you all. 8:36, it looks like, and we are concluding this meeting. We will see everybody next Wednesday, I think, for a regular meeting. Have a good evening.